Welcome to Weekly Report on Climate Change News. The Green New Deal, an agenda that started as a very small idea, is turning into something big. Backed by many of the Democratic Party presidential candidates for the 2020 presidential elections, the bill seeks to eliminate dirty energy from the United States by 2030 and build a national energy-efficient smart grid. A recent report by a think tank warned that the United Kingdom might not have any functional means to regulate environment actions should there be no deal. The no-deal Brexit day is fast approaching on 29 March 2019, and until now, except for the nuclear issue, some sectors are not ready. Environmental lobbyists are even more worried by the lack of a formal institution issues in Northern Ireland. An unusual disease epidemic among marine animals is greatly affecting the once common sunflower sea star. This particular fauna is an important component in the ecosystem, as it eats the sea urchins, which can devour swathes of kelp forests, leaving little to nothing to the numerous other creatures in the habitat. Along the coast from California to British Columbia, increased deaths of the sunflower sea star have been observed, especially due to the warming temperatures. With the decline of the sunflower sea star population, the biodiversity is highly threatened. Unprecedented levels of pollution in the capital of Thailand forced schools to close, as residents were reported to sneeze out blood. To tackle the pollution problem, drones were deployed to spray the areas with water, and residents in the city were advised to stay indoors to minimize the health crisis. The governor, Asawin Kwanwong, acknowledged the future problem of the pollution levels and invited academics and the private sector to contribute with possible ideas and solutions. A combination of high carbon emission along with the meteorological events have trapped noxious level of pollution in the city. A recent NASA mission revealed a huge and rapidly growing cavity 2/3 the size of Manhattan on the underside of one of Antarctica's glaciers, signaling that the ice mass has been melting much faster than experts realized, with most of it disappearing in the last 3 years due to warmer oceans. The melting of the Twice Glacier is already behind about 4% of global sea rise. A disaster was declared in Queensland, Australia, after heavy rainfall, flooding and landslides prompted evacuations of properties. Townsville officials released 2,000 cubic meters of water to pour out of the dam every second from the Ross River Dam. Extreme rainfall events are also expected to increase across the country, according to the Bill of Materials State of the Climate 2018. The Drake's Beach, part of the Point Reyes National Seashore in California, is now closed to human visitors after being overrun by elephant seals during the government shutdown, which led to staff shortage to regularly keep seals off the beach. The reclamation of the beach by nearly 100 female seals and pups and new females has actually given returning park staff a hope. The United Nations Weather Agency, the World Meteorological Organization, has declared that the world is in the grasp of high-impact weather, as per its January assessment. The report comes after record high temperatures are scorching Australia at the same time as North America contends with a polar vortex that has plunged the USA into temperatures colder than that of Antarctica. While extreme weather phenomena are not new, research has increasingly begun to show that climate change may be behind the great frequency and intensity of these events. A Reddit thread on climate change recently saw Chuck recall the story of his sudden change of heart towards climate change, citing science as his epiphanic moment. This trend is seen all over the USA as there has been a jump of 8%, making 78% in people believing climate change is real within the last 3 years. For most adults and elderly people, it was not science lessons that taught them that climate change exists, but rather their personal experience with the weather and what they can see and feel for themselves that made them change their minds. The Himalayas are now turning grey. This ecosystem, responsible for some 20% of the Earth's population, with one of the main sources for clean water, may not be able to sustain itself any longer due to climate change. With the irregular weather pattern, it has also impacted on the agricultural sector that the people rely on, saying the need to push for sustainable farming. Thank you for watching. See you next week with the latest news on climate change.